So when we set a big goal for ourselves, it can often seem so far off in the future and so unobtainable that we end up not taking any action. So what I like to do is break the goal down into daily actions that will move you towards it. So I've explained this visually. I hope this helps. If you commit to this, if you actually commit to this, I guarantee your life will change. If you commit to this for 6 weeks and do exactly as I explained in this video and you don't have results in your life, I'll send you $20. I will send you $20 for a Starbucks, okay? So give it a go. Looking forward to the results you're going to get. Okay, let's jump into this. Now, I hope you can hear everything okay. I'm in the lounge at Kuala Lumpur Airport, so there might be a little bit of background noise. If there is, deal with it. So let's have a look at this. Now, what I'm going to do is explain how you actually move towards a big vision and how you do this systematically. So we often hear things like this, you know, have a big vision, set big goals, and it all sounds good, but it's all just wishy-washy stuff that appears on social media, and there's no actual actionable way to kind of move towards it. And a lot of it kind of gets lumped in with like manifesting and this stuff, and it's not actually actionable. But what I want to kind of show to you is that this is very much actionable, that having a big goal or working towards a dream outcome is something just you can do systematically. It's not a case of like all these things falling into place very, very quickly. It's basically a bunch of small habits that stack up over time and get you to that dream outcome. So let's have a look. So what we have here is a little diagram. Now this is you today, okay? You're looking very happy and yellow. This is you today. Now, the first thing you need to do is you need to have a big vision. So you need to actually spend some time. You need to spend an hour, spend a couple of hours sitting, thinking, or standing, I don't care, thinking, what do I actually want my life to look like? What do I want my future to look like? Where do I want to be in a year's time, in 6 months' time? Okay, and you need to write it down, write everything down. And as well as writing down externally, what do you see? Where are you? Who's around you? Internally, how do you feel? So an example of that might be, I am looking out and I'm on an amazing beach surrounded by amazing people. And then internally, you might think, I feel supported and I feel on purpose and I feel like I'm adding value to the world around me. So those two things are slightly different, and I'll explain a little bit more, but that's basically, we have to have an external vision and an internal vision, and we have to understand both of those. I go a lot deeper into that. It's the first thing I do with everyone in my program. I call it Project 6, and you'll see why in a sec. I'm just kind of giving you an overview of everything here. So, first of all, you need to have your big vision. You need to have that dream outcome. You need to get crystal clear on exactly what that is, okay? You need to spend time. Okay, you need to spend a lot of time actually considering that and write it down. Write down 2 big long paragraphs. One, your external vision. You know, imagine yourself looking out. What does your life look like? Internally, how do you feel? I feel strong, I feel powerful. Okay, write down both and just write a big old paragraph for both. Okay, and we're going to come back to this later because you're going to be referring back to this all the time. So that's first things first. You need to have a clear direction. You need to have a big vision. Now, your big vision is over here. Okay, so it's our dream outcome. So our big vision, okay, ideally we want to this is where we are right now, and we want to move towards this dream outcome. Okay, now let me explain how most people move through life and how I used to move through life as well. And still am guilty of sometimes. Not following this fully. Now, most people will start here today, and then in 6 months' time, they'll end up here. And that's because they have both good habits and they have bad habits. Now, they will not move like this, okay? They will not move like this. So our dream outcome's here, and then living hell is down here, okay? They will not move like this, okay? This is what will happen. They will have some good habits. Maybe they're going to the gym, they're doing all these sorts of things, but then they're hanging around with toxic people, okay, and they're scrolling too much, and now they're going out drinking. But then, they've started reading a new book, and they now have a few more good habits, and and something else happens, and da-da-da-da happens, and then this happens, and then this, and da-da-da. They kind of end up here. But they've had ups and downs, good habits, bad habits. Okay, so usually most people move through life like this. Okay, some people are different. It's interesting. Like, I know some people who are literally they are very just kind of like this, just kind of in the middle. And then there's some people, and you'll know these people, who are like this. And I've definitely been guilty of this in the past. It's like going on crazy like this. Lots of good habits, then loads of bad habits, and sabotaging the good things. So that's essentially what it is. We have good habits, but we sabotage them. We have good habits and we sabotage them. Good habits, sabotage them. And then we end up in exactly the same place in the future, okay? But it's not just a complete straight line. Now, if we start adopting a bunch of really, really terrible habits, let's say we get into, I don't know, a new toxic friend group, or we start like experimenting with drugs, something along those lines. So this is what would happen. And I'll be honest, my kind of second year of university, this is kind of what happened to me. I had some good habits, but I had more bad habits that I was introducing, and I kind of got down here. I had lots of anxiety, I didn't like myself, I didn't feel confident, I got well out of shape. I was in good shape when I was 18, and through drinking, eating bad food, experimenting with things that weren't good for me, I ended up down here. Okay, I wouldn't quite say living hell, but I definitely wasn't in a good place. But that's because I introduced more bad habits into my daily actions. Okay, so when we start adding in more bad habits, we start making our way down here. Now, again, speaking from personal experience, I realized that I was down here, and then I had to overcompensate and start adding in a bunch of good habits just to get back to kind of where I was. Okay, so, when you're kind of down here, it takes a lot to get back up. Okay, but the important thing is the direction you're going. Okay, so the most important thing, even if you are down here, the important thing is that you're not going even further. It's that you make a change and you start going this way. So let's say you're just kind of like the average person, which most of us are. You're probably doing this thing that we said here. Okay, up and down, good habits, bad habits, and it's just kind of getting you exactly the same results as you have been getting. Okay, so inputs equals outputs. You put in the same inputs, you get the same outputs. Okay. Good habits, bad habits, good habits, bad habits, you end up in exactly the same place. Now, if we want to kind of actually live this big vision and get to this dream outcome over here, we're going to start to have to implement more good habits, okay? Now, that's all well and good. So let's say we add in a new habit that we're now going to the gym every day that we weren't doing before. Great, awesome, but we're still eating bad food, okay? We're going to the gym, but we're not getting enough sleep. Okay, so we're still sabotaging ourselves. So a lot of kind of self-help and all of this stuff, they're like, right, well, you need to wake up early and have a cold shower and then do this. But what they don't mention is the bad shit you're doing. Okay, but also you need to stop scrolling. Also, you need to stop watching porn. Also, you need to stop doing this. Okay, they just focus on adding things, but if you're adding on bad foundations, you're just going to sabotage yourself and end up here. So, like we said, what we need to do is we need to keep adding good habits, but we need to get rid of bad habits so that when we do these good habits, we just keep going like this, okay? All the way up to that dream outcome. Now, is anyone going to go like this? Just straight up? Maybe, but probably not. It's probably going to look like this. Yeah? You're probably going to slip up. I slip up all the time. So it's probably going to look something like that. But the important thing is that the good habits will vastly outweigh the bad habits. Okay, so it's important that we move like this. And we're realistic with ourselves, that we don't think we're just going to do this huge trajectory up like this. Okay, so this is what you're going to do for some action. I'm going to scroll down. Action, baby. Now, I used to do this. My first offer was actually all around this. It was a mindset offer, and I called it Project 6, and you'll see why. So Project 6, and this is what you're going to take action on, and it's going to change your life, is essentially where for 6 days out of the week, we commit to 6 things. Okay, for 6 days out of the week, we commit to 6 things. Now, what you need to do is you need to think of that big vision, okay, that BV. You need to think of that big vision, and you need to break it apart from this big vision that you've thought about, think of that person and try and imagine yourself as that person. What are 3 things that that person does on a daily basis that got them there? What are 3 things that that person does on a daily basis? Write them down, just 3 things. Okay? Write those down, that's really important. Now, think back to that big vision, that version of you that you spent some time imagining. And imagination is a preview of life's coming attractions. And think about 3 things compared to where you are now. So this is you now, here, and where we want to get to. So that person A and person B, what are 3 things, okay, 3 habits that they had to remove to get to that point B? Okay, what things did they have to remove? Write 3 down. So here's just an example. 3 good habits that this person had is every day they read, they learned, they were creating, they were exercising. Now remember, you're either a creator or a consumer. That's it. Okay, so they're creating, exercising. These are 3 good habits that this person had that got them towards that big vision. And what are 3 bad habits they had to remove? They had to stop scrolling, spending 3-4 hours scrolling a day. They had to stop smoking weed. They had to stop lying. Okay, so whatever this is for you, these are some things that need to be removed. Now, this all sounds really, really good. And it's like, okay, right, I'm feeling motivated. Awesome. I've got 3 things that I'm going to add, 3 good habits. Amazing. And I'm going to remove these things. Feel amazing. Great. You smash this for 1 day. You do all of those things. And then because they're habits and because it takes a lot to break a habit, by day 2, you're fucked. By day 2, you've gone back to this, you've gone back to this, you've gone back to this, and you forgot to do this. Okay, so by day 2, you're now feeling really sad because you felt good on day 1. You're like, I'm on top of the world, okay? And you were doing this, and then by day 2, same thing happens again. You sabotage yourself, okay? And then you might try again, and now you're down here. But now you feel like, oh, nothing works. I shouldn't try anyway, and then you just end up in the same place. So here is my solution for actually implementing these things and staying consistent with them. Now, you can either do this, it depends how quickly you want results and how much willpower you have. You can either do this on a day-by-day basis, or you can change these to weeks. It depends how kind of in the pit you are. If you're really in the pit, it might be worth changing this to weeks. But if you've got good momentum, then you can probably do this per day. So this is how it works. You've written these 3 things down, 3 things you're going to add, and 3 things you're going to remove. Now, you've done that after watching this video. Amazing. You've written all those down. You're ready to go. Now, rather than jumping in tomorrow and doing all 6 of those, what you're going to do is you're going to pick one of these and you're going to cut it out tomorrow. So tomorrow, you're going to stop scrolling. Boom. Done. That's it. That's your job for tomorrow. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. The job was to stop scrolling. If you do that, boom, you're a winner. Well done. Congratulations. Now, day 2 comes around and you keep what you did on day 1. Okay, so we also are not scrolling, but we're going to pick one of these to add. So I didn't scroll today, and I read 10 pages of a book. Awesome. Boom, boom. 2 wins. Let's go. Then day 3, same thing. We're going to continue not scrolling. We're going to continue the 10 pages, and I'm also going to stop smoking weed. 3 wins. Okay, so we're building momentum. We're doing this. Okay, this is the way we're looking. We're building momentum. And then so on and so forth. So by day 6, you've implemented all of these. Okay, so you've got rid of these 3 things, 1, 2, 3, and you've added these 3 things to your life. Amazing. Now, these 6 things, you're going to carry these forward and you're going to continue doing these for the next 6 weeks. Okay, so these 6 things you continue doing for 6 weeks. That's really, really important. Now, if you want to move a bit slower, you can move a bit slower. The important thing is that you build that winner's effect. That after you do this, you feel really good about yourself. So then you do this and you feel really good about yourself then. But the thing is, when we try and like implement all of these at once, no one's going to do it. You're not going to do it. You're going to feel really, really sad because you didn't manage to do it. You maybe managed to do it for a day and then you fell apart. And then that's going to cause you to move further down here. Now, that's it. You have these 6 things, you've practiced doing it, you've built up over the week, and now you do that for 6 weeks and your life will change. Your life will 1,000,000% change, and then you will be moving, you will be someone who is doing this. Okay? You will be someone who's doing this. Now, as we said, this is somewhat unrealistic just to go up in a straight line. We said it's going to look more like this. Okay? It's going to look more like this, which is totally fine. Now, that's why on day 7, you don't sabotage, you don't undo all the good work you've done all week. But there is no pressure. The goal is, on day 7, that these things are so kind of ingrained in you that you do them anyway. But you're a little bit easier on yourself, okay? Maybe you don't exercise that day, that's your day off. Maybe you haven't read the book, instead you've watched your favourite show. Okay, whatever, okay? As long as it's not really, really sabotaging what you're doing, okay, that's totally fine, okay? Just try and do as many as you can, but there's no pressure. So 6 days out of the week, you hit them and you're committed to hitting those. You make sure you hit these 6 things. But on the 7th day, okay, it's more relaxed. Whatever, I'm going to try and do them. If I don't, whatever. You take the pressure off, okay? On this day, on these days here, there is pressure. You make sure you do it. You made a commitment, so you make sure you do those things. This day, chill out a little bit, okay? And that's why this actually works, because you're allowing yourself, it's kind of, I mean, I guess it's the same sort of thought process as a cheat meal, but I don't like to think of it like that because that really sabotages. The idea is you have that good momentum and it's a little bit of pressure, just sort of, oh, good momentum again, oh, a little bit of pressure off, boom, like that. Okay, so you kind of move up like this. Okay, that's your day off there. But you've given yourself 6 out of 7 to move up, and then 1 to just either, to be honest, you're probably going to be moving more like this. Okay, which is great. So for me, whenever I have a new mission, whenever I have a new challenge, whenever there's something that I want to do, and the reason that I've made a video on this today is because I made a commitment with someone today that I'm going to add a new thing in, and I also decided there's maybe 1 or 2 things that I want to remove. So I redo this all the time, okay? I redo this all the time. The most important thing, like we said, have that big vision for yourself and really spend some time building out that big vision for you. And what you need to do is, well, you don't need to do anything. But what I suggest is that you put this on your notes, and that this is the first and last thing you read every day, is you read this vision. Okay, so write 2 big paragraphs. Really when you write it, you really get into that kind of mind frame of it being real, and then read it every morning as you wake up, and then read it before you go to bed. Now, there's a lot of science involved in that as well, but we won't go into that. If you're interested in learning more about kind of where this framework I've kind of extracted this from, there's a few books you can read. 1, Power of Intention, Wayne Dyer. 2, Joe Dispenza, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. And if there's any more, I'll put them in the description. But basically, a lot of self-help is basically outlining what I've detailed here. Okay, this is kind of the logical way to break it down. So yeah, I hope that has helped, and I hope you find some time to create a big vision for yourself. I hope that action framework is something that you feel you can start implementing, and I hope you feel confident in realizing that, look, you're going to start towards your goal today, and by next week, you're going to get here. Okay, you're still over here, but don't get discouraged. And in 2 weeks' time, you're here. 3 weeks, you're here. This is still over here, but you're moving towards it, okay? People do something for 3 weeks and they're like, oh, it hasn't happened yet, whatever it is. But they're moving towards it, and then they stop. And then all their bad habits come back, and then they're back down here. Same future that they've always had, okay? So just keep at it. Keep at it. If you slip up, okay, keep at it. Get back on the bandwagon. Well, don't fall off the bandwagon, whatever the expression is. Okay, so I hope that gives you a bunch of confidence that, like, you can do it. Whatever it is, it's fine. You can do it. Break it down into habits. Break it into habits that you need to add, and then break it into habits that you need to get rid of. Boom, do that. You'll end up over here. Your dream outcome. And yeah, let me know. If you feel so inclined, feel free to drop me a message. Let me know what your big vision is. Drop me a message on IG. That's Instagram. Tell me what your big vision is, or tell me what good habits you're going to add and what you're going to get rid of. And I'd love to see kind of how far you get in 6 weeks. I can promise you that this has changed my life multiple times. And the amazing thing about this is you can just do it over and over again. If you feel yourself slipping back into this kind of way, because what will happen is, look, you'll level up and you'll get here, and then you'll kind of do this again, and then literally redo this whole process, and you can start shooting back up again. So you can do this at any time. Plateau, do it again. Plateau, do it again. Okay. So I've found this to be a really, really helpful framework. I hope it helps you. I appreciate you. And yeah, this is basically, we break this down. My whole first module in my program is all around this Project 6. So everything that I put into my kind of initial clients, years ago now, we do this first, and this is life-changing. There's a few more kind of aspects to it. We go a lot deeper, and I really push on some of your buttons, which is necessary. But yeah, if you are someone who is, a talented professional, and you kind of feel like in your job you're doing this at the moment, you're here, but you have all these skills and you want a different outcome, do drop me a message. I'll let you know about the program. I'll let you know if you're a good fit, and if I can help you kind of accelerate this kind of dream outcome, give you frameworks that are going to get you there a lot quicker, whatever that looks like for you. So go ahead, you can either drop me a message on Instagram, or you can just book a call with me. There'll be a link in the description below. But as always, do not waste my time. Only if you're serious, only if you're ready to roll. Make sure you've got funds ready for investment. My time is not free, okay? As much as I'd love to just give free time for everyone, it's not, okay? My time is not free. It's valuable because there's some unbelievable knowledge in here that's going to get you unbelievable results. So don't waste my time. My time is valuable, okay? Don't like tire kickers, okay? I like people who are good at making decisions, because when people commit to something, that's when they get those amazing results. When people are like, okay, I'll think about it, they're the people who they're still thinking about it. And then they reach back out to me in a month's time. They're like, I'm still here. I'm like, no shit. So, just to, preface that and make that clear. But yeah, I hope that's helped. Take action on this. Change your life. Good luck.